Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We start with you explaining the lectures of the exam, the first exam. Now we have the lecture 1, phonemes and symbols. There are certain questions starting the lecture. What is phonetics? What is phonology? What is speech? So we are after knowing the definitions of these terms. Is it easy to decide on the number of segments? How many different sounds or segments there are in English? And is it possible to decide on the number of segments in a language? So, phonetics and phonology, we have certain definitions for the word phonetics and the term phonology. So, phonetics is the branch of linguistics that focuses on the production and classification of speech sounds. So, phonetics is the science, or it is the branch of linguistics, which is mainly concerned with the production and classification of speech sounds. Whereas phonology, it is also a branch of linguistics, but it is mainly concerned with uh, distribution and patterning of speech sounds. The distribution and patterning of speech sounds. You have to know these definitions and understand the difference between these two definitions. Now, speech consists of abstract set of units called phonemes. Phonemes, as a plural term, means the abstract set of units, whereas a phoneme, it is the smallest meaningful unit of speech. The phonemes are the basis of our speech. The complete set is called the phonemic system of language. As there are many ways of writing the same letter, there are different ways to make sounds. For example, we have phoneme, and this phoneme, the particular speech sound, has certain variations or realizations. So, taking the word man, it consists of three phonemes: me, the vowel a, and ne. Just as in the number of English vowels is not greater than 20, this is the number of English vowels is not greater than 20. If we replace one of these 20 vowels by another one of these 20, the meaning of the word would change. So the word man, we can change, if we can change one phoneme, for example, the phoneme me, we change it by another. For example, ran, with the phoneme ra, it would change the meaning of this word. So the phoneme itself is a meaningful unit of speech, because changing one phoneme would change the meaning of the word. So in the letters of the alphabet that we use in writing, we have 5 vowels: A, E, I, and O, and U. Substituting one vowel for another changes meaning also. For example, we have these words: pit, pet, pat, pot, put, and pot. Pot and put. Okay? Pot, pot, and put. If we change the vowel, also we would change the meaning of the word. Now, if someone sees the 4 characters, we have the capital A, the small a, and the small a written differently, and U. He or she would decide that the first 3 represent the same letters. These are different spellings for the same letter A, but U, of course, it would be different. And the 4th one is a different letter, because it is the letter for the vowel U, which is U, pronounced as U. The letter A is more common in printed and typed writing, while the latter is more common in handwriting. The last one is more common in handwriting. Okay, and the first one is a capital letter that comes at the beginning of a sentence. So this is the difference between the 3 letters of A. Now, sound may be pronounced with different realizations, as we said just earlier. We have phonemes. Every phoneme might have different realizations. For example, we have the letter T, which comes with aspiration, and the unaspirated T. When we say T, the T coming at the first of the word T is aspirated. But when we say eat, T is unaspirated. So these aspirated T and unaspirated T are in complementary distribution. Complementary distribution, which means there's a strict separation of sounds, that one sound cannot come in the place of another sound, although they are different realizations of the same sound. Now, symbols and transcription, basically, the symbols are for one of two purposes. Either they are symbols for phonemes, phonemic symbols, or they are phonetic symbols, which is what the symbols were first introduced as. Phonetic symbols, as we said earlier, phonetic, we are here concerned with prediction and classification. Phoneme, here, these are the meaningful units of sound, meaningful units that changing one would change the meaning. The number of phonemic symbols must be exactly the same as the number of phonemes that exist in the language. However, some of the phonemic symbols consist of two characters. For example, we have the sound ch and j, which consists of the t sound and sh, and j, which consists of d and j. Now, types of phonemic transcription. We have two types of phonemic transcription. Transcription from dictation, that is, the student must listen to a person and or a recording, of course, and write down what they hear, or transcription from a written text. Now, the student is given a passage written in the orthography and must use phonemic symbols to represent how she or he thinks it would be pronounced. So, two types of transcription. Transcription from dictation. As a student, I listen to someone speaking or a recording and I write down the transcription, or transcription from written text. I am given a text and I'm asked to write down the transcription for the text. Now, the phonemic system described here, the BBC, of course, is used, contains 44 phonemes. Consonants can be placed in a chart or table according to place of articulation, manner of articulation, and voicing. Human beings can make many more sounds than these, and phoneticians use a much larger set of symbols when they are trying to represent sounds more accurately. The best known set of symbols is that of International Phonetic Association, IPA. Diacritics, these are marks, defined as marks that modify the symbol in some way. For example, if I add two dots above A, it means it is more central. Now, phonetic transcription, the phonetic transcription that contains a lot of information about the exact quality of the sound would be called a narrow phonetic transcription. So it is phonetic transcription or narrow phonetic transcription because it includes many information about the sound, since I'm talking about prediction. While one which only includes a little more information than a phonemic transcription would be called a broad phonetic transcription, which is phonemic transcription. One further type of transcription is one which is basically phonemic but contains additional symbolic information about allophones of a particular symbol. This is called allophonic transcription. This includes a little more information than the phonemic transcription. When symbols are used to represent precise phonetic value rather than phonemes, they are often enclosed in square brackets. If you see square brackets, it means this is a phonetic transcription or a narrow transcription. Okay, as the vowel A with the dots. In many phonetic books, phonemic symbols are enclosed within the slant brackets. These are slants brackets. Phonemic symbols do not have to indicate precise phonetic quality, phonemic symbols, but phonetic symbols include many information about the phonemes. Phoneme sequences and symbol structure. In every language, there are restrictions or limits on the sequences of phonemes that are used. For example, no English word begins with the consonant sequence ZBF. I have no English word that starts ZBF. And no word ends with the sequence AH. In phonology, we try to analyze what the restrictions and regularities are in a particular language. Because as we said, phonology is concerned with the patterning and distribution of speech sounds. So this is the main concern of phonology. And it is usually found helpful to do this by studying the syllables of language. Suprasegmental phonology, it is we have stress and intonation. In relation to suprasegmental phonology, many significant sound contrasts are not the result of differences between phonemes. For example, stress is important. When the word import is pronounced with the first syllable sounding stronger than the second, English speakers hear it as a noun. So the same word, import, if pronounced as import with stress or prominence at the first on the first syllable, im, so it is a noun. But if the second syllable, it is import, it becomes a verb. Intonation is also important. If the word right is said with the pitch of the voice rising, for example, right, so it is a question. The same word, or I say right. Here I'm answering someone. So it's likely to be heard as a question if I say it right, or as an invitation to a speaker to continue. While falling pitch is more likely to be heard as confirmation or agreement if I say to someone, right. So I'm agreeing to something. But if I'm say right, here I'm asking for agreement. These examples show sound contrasts that extend over several segments, phonemes, and such contrasts are called suprasegmental because they are above the level of phonemes. So this is the explanation for the first lecture. Wish you the best of luck. Yes.